So initially, all the changes scared me. I was very, very stressed, like, could I do this again? Because I, had it, the last child I had was 7. And I'm like, I can't remember how to do all these things that you do for a baby. Plus I was giving up my job, so that was a little bit different. But we just took it one day at a time, and he led us, I guess, in the way, because he, you had to give him what he needed and that sort of thing. And he settled in quite quickly, but it took a little while to just get him, really comfortable. But once he was settled in, but yeah, the initial first thing was, we've got to do everything right and make sure that he's welcomed into the house. And yeah, it's a bit of navigating, but it's worthwhile.
I can't say that we didn't think to ourselves, have we done the right thing by taking on such a small child at our age? I know we're only young, but we've now had a lifestyle of our own, and we started to live our life because we had children very young. During that 6 months, it was like we had no time for each other. It was more, our total focus was definitely on our granddaughter. 100%, all our spare time was on her. So we had no spare time for ourselves. We couldn't go anywhere unless we packed up a nappy bag, the bottles, you've got to have the formula, you've got to have all that, and going back to that was a real culture shock for us for the 6 months. It was trying to settle into that after not having to do it for 26 years.
When you have your own child, you learn from the beginning. They're there from the beginning. You get to know them from that time. Whereas with a little boy that comes to you at 12 months, it takes a little bit of getting used to, and you learning about him and him learning about you. So emotionally, I was like, oh my God, have we done the right thing? Can I do this job? And I think with each other, we had to just say, come on, no, we're doing fine.
At the very start, there was a bit of challenges. The little girl was very attached to her short-term carers, so it was a little bit of a weaning process and delicate process to start with, and you also don't want to make them, give them social anxiety not to be able to go to other people, so it's really hard to balance at the start. Lifestyle and work, I've had to change a lot. Work full-time, I was working for about 3 years full-time. I gave up that. Absolutely loved my job, but I love this job better.
I guess the biggest challenges have been that we had to change our lifestyle completely. We had to rearrange the whole house to fit him in, because we had, which has been good in a way, because we've been able to have a big clean out, and
At first, giving up work was really daunting. I was really worried about how I would make it work financially, how my mental health would work, because I've worked my whole life. But it turns out it's not so boring looking after a baby. and I'm actually really enjoying it. So I'm getting a lot of support, so it's helpful.
Normal family planning would be thinking about having another child, or if you don't plan on it, at least you've got 9 months of pregnancy to kind of get used to the idea of a child joining your family. But for these families, it could be a knock on the door at night asking if they can care for their grandchild or their niece or nephew, and they often need to make quite a quick decision of whether they're going to care for a family member. And look, all kinship carers tell me how challenging that is, but that now that they're caring for their child, that they wouldn't have it any other way. That the rewards of caring for the child in their family and keeping them safe and keeping them connected to their family far outweighs any of the sacrifices that they've had to make to take on full-time care.
The best things about taking on our granddaughter were actually having her in our lives. We never thought we'd be able to have her at all for 12 months. We struggled to get her in our care, and when it happened, it's just the most amazing thing ever. She keeps us young, she's funny, I get to stay home and play all day, and the most amazing thing is doing craft every day, building things, making messes together, and it's amazing.
The best thing about taking on the care is just to see her hit her milestones every day and watch her grow, and we get to see the day-to-day exciting things that unfortunately not everyone gets to see, so it's rewarding for us to be able to see that.
So for my 13-year-old and my 7-year-old, it has been massive in such a good way. They're really enjoying, the main thing is enjoying having their mother at home, and they've just taken to him like, they just adore him. At first it was like, oh no, he cries all the time and he does this and he gets into that. And then as time's gone on, they're like, oh, isn't he cute? And oh, that's so sweet that he does that. And they're realising that, you know, he's just a lovely little creature, and that they get they have the ability to give him this lovely life and be one part of his life.
The response from extended family, my part of the family has been all positive. On my husband's side of the family, they sort of thought that, you know, we were taking on too much, maybe doing the wrong thing by taking her on. You know, you've got a responsibility now till she's 18, all that kind of stuff. But look, from the other side of the family, our granddaughter's mum's side of the family, it's been all positive. We've had support from them as well. Emotionally supported. My parents support us 100%. So it's just a win-win, you know. As soon as you say you're going to be doing this kind of thing, it just seems like this big world of support and circle sort of comes in to join you and help you out, and it's not like you're on your own.
The extended family is struggling with the fact that this little baby's been taken from her parents and placed with us. We've ended up having to have some boundaries in place, just little things like social media and stuff like that.
My nephew's parents get to see him once a month, and we usually go to a park and have just a fun day out. They're usually for 2 hours. They've been really, really positive, and the parents have both been very appropriate at each visit, which has made it very positive and you know, easy to do, I guess, because you're not worried and stressed and everything. Everyone just seems to come together and sit down and have a chat, and we talk about what he's done through the week or the month or anything that's coming up that they need to know, and it's just been very, very, very positive. My brother has a mental illness, and he was unwell a couple of months ago when it was time for contact. He actually rang the caseworker and told her that he wasn't well enough to attend, which I thought was quite good, it's a good sign, I think, because he can see that he has to do what's best for his son in that circumstance. And then the contact that he's just had recently, which was only about a week ago, was fantastic. And I was surprised. I was like, oh, how's this going to go? But it was great, and I think it was because he made the right choice and got some help.
At the start, we were a bit worried about casework visits and how they were going to, you know, integrate into our life, but it's really no different to someone coming out and checking on how you're going and making sure you're coping okay. So it's like having a friend over for a coffee, really.
Our hopes for the future for our granddaughter is to grow up being positive about the world, and being in out-of-home care. I know she's going to have a lot of questions later on, but filling her head with positive more than the negative side of everything, to make her feel that she's not different, to make her understand that she's always been wanted and loved.
I think his siblings in particular, he's going to have a nice relationship with, because I can already see how much they adore him. And I think hopefully one day his parents will be along the same line. I think that it's been positive so far, and I hope that it stays that way, and I see that they have a lot of fun with him and enjoy the time that they have with him. So yeah, I hope it continues that way.
The future for our granddaughter with her parents would be for me to see them with a little bit more of a relationship together, like going out or doing things together. At this point, they see her once a month, and I sort of, you know, go with her and we do things together, and she just loves her mum and dad so much.
Our hopes for the future with her extended family is that she'll be able to have a positive relationship, and they'll be able to cope with her being with us a lot better. So it would make it a lot more comfortable for her to have both of us around in the same room, which would be really nice for this little girl growing up to be able to witness that.